Hello, everybody, and thank you for your time. Welcome to our webinar. We are very happy to welcome you and to present you our solutions to help you save time and money thanks to artificial intelligence. My name is Ines, and I'm marketing manager at Lingua Custodia. First of all, I would like to introduce you our team of speakers today. First, our CEO, Olivier.
Hello.
Then, Melissa. She is a researcher here at Lingua Custodia and also a member of the lab.
Hi, everyone.
Then we have Massinissa, who is head of product specialist.
Hi.
And last, Frédéric, head of sales and also managing director of Lingua Custodia Luxembourg.
Hi, everyone.
To start, I will leave the floor to Olivier, our CEO, who will introduce you the company.
Hello, everyone. My name is Olivier. I'm the CEO and founder of Lingua Custodia, a company that applies machine learning to financial translations. So as Ines said, today we're going to give you a quick introduction of who we are. Then Melissa will give you a broad introduction on the topic of machine learning in general and how we apply it to the financial language. Then Massinissa will perform a live demonstration of our platform. And finally, Frédéric, who is the head of our Luxembourg office and our head of sales, will conclude, and we will have a Q&A session. So first, just to introduce myself, I'm a former finance professional. I spent 18 years working in the asset management industry. And the idea came up to create Lingua Custodia during the previous financial crisis in 2008, when I was at the time managing a team who had to deal with crisis communication in plenty of different languages for clients. And this is how came up the idea of let's try to create a kind of Google Translate, but that works for us finance professionals. And then this is how the story started. The company was created in 2011. We did a lot of research and development, and we finally rolled out on the market, and we opened our operation in 2015. And we then moved on, started to have our first clients in 2016, 17, 18. We also gained a few prizes because we belong to the Fintech ecosystem. And we opened a branch, our first branch outside of France, where our headquarters is based in Luxembourg last year, as well as opening another office right in the center of Paris, where we would be very pleased to welcome you. In normal circumstances, we would have done this presentation in our office, which is based in the Passage des Panoramas next to the Paris Stock Exchange. But here we are, we're doing this through a webinar today. So first, to come back to the topic of why do financial institutions need to translate? They need to understand what they invest in, and they need to communicate with their clients to be transparent. How do they do this today? They are using translation agencies, which is the most kind of straight way people are thinking of when it comes to translation. Quite often, they have an in-house translation team. And also, what happens a lot, because everyone speaks English on top of their native language, they do it themselves. And this creates quite a few challenges. First, the translation process can be slow, particularly when it's fully manual. It is very expensive. It can go up to 30 cents per word in some countries in Europe, and it can go even higher than that if you're applying emergency rates. And also, it's hard to have regular quality on financial translation. Why is that? It's because financial translation is almost a financial expertise, and there are not that many people who are able to translate those type of text correctly, because they need to really understand what it is about. So you have you have some translation agencies that are specialized and that are very good in the financial domain, but there are not that many, and there are not that many freelance translators who can do this. So therefore, there is a shortage in expertise, and this is why also we thought that technology could bring a solution to this problem. Our solution aims to speed up the process, make it more cost efficient, and to bring a homogeneous quality. A good translation is when we translate documents and text always in the same way. And a machine for that is quite good and efficient. So our platform propose a service that allows you to machine translate documents using specialized machine translation engines. They are specialized by type of document. This means that I was talking about Google Translate at the beginning, that there is a Google Translate specifically for fund prospectuses or for equity research documents or for corporate annual reports, because that's not the same terminology. Those engines can be customized for each client if necessary, because everyone has a different way to translate the titles of people, the name of procedures, the name of teams. This is a solution which is fully secured, so there's no cloud involved. It's purely between us and our clients. And finally, this is also format friendly. Our solution can support more than 30 different types of documents, Microsoft Office documents, InDesign, as well as PDF. The type of documents for which we have created specific translation engines is useful for asset managers, for brokers, for custodians, and also we have started recently to work to create engines for insurance companies. We cover all the Western European languages, as well as Chinese and Japanese. And we also offer, so this is to have a pure machine translation service. For the clients who can't proofread and check the output of a machine, we can also offer this service, which we call the post-editing option, whereby we have selected a small number of people who are able to really understand the financial topic and who can post-edit the output of the machine for our clients when our clients don't want to perform that themselves. To give you a quick idea of why it is important to specialize the translation engine is a simple sentence such as "the hedge is ready." In English, if you want to translate this in French and you put that in a generic translation engine, it's going to tell you "la haie est prête," which is in French, hedge can be a haie, which is a hedge in the garden, but it could also be a financial hedge, which would be properly translated as couverture. So that's a simple difference. There are thousands of examples like this. So to sum it up, we are the only machine translation company that has been funded by finance professionals, which means that we only do this. We also know the issues that our clients are facing. We work exclusively for financial institutions, and you can see a few names on this slide. We are an expert in machine learning applied to a financial language, and we've been doing this since 2011, back in a time when we were not talking about artificial intelligence. And the team is a good mix of people who are expert either in technology, in machine learning, in finance, or in languages. We're today a team of a bit more than 20 people spread across our 3 offices. To give you also an idea of why we are doing this and why our clients are interested in this type of service, it's 2 things. First, there is this aspect of time. The time benefit is very important. A translator, if a finance professional or a translator want to translate manually a text, it's going to take 2,000 words. It's going to be a production of 2,000 words per day. And this can go up to 10,000 words per day using a specialized machine translation engine. So you can divide the time spent in-house by your teams, divided by 5 for the time spent on translation, particularly when the solution keeps the format. And then for our clients who are asking us to also do the post-editing to correct the output of the machine, we can, thanks to the technology, have a pricing which is approximately 40% below the market rates. So this is what we are proposing to our clients. Thank you again for being with us today. And I'm going to hand the floor over to Ines for the next part of the show. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Olivier, for this introduction. I would like to let you know that we will have a Q&A session at the end of the meeting. So if you have any question, please use the Q&A feature on the bottom of your screen. Just write your question down and we will answer all of them at the end of the webinar. Next, I would like to welcome Melissa, a researcher at Lingua Custodia, member of the lab. Melissa will give you a great introduction about machine learning.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thanks again for joining us today for our webinar. My name is Melissa and I'm a research scientist at Lingua Custodia. Today I'm going to present what's machine learning in about 15 minutes. So this is an informal presentation of machine learning. I will try to give some insights about what's machine learning and why do we need it. And I will finish this presentation by giving some example of machine learning applications at Lingua Custodia. So let's, for instance, consider the problem of recognizing handwritten digits. So we have several digits, 0, 1, 2, until 9, written by humans, and we would like to know to which number each digit corresponds to. It's actually a very hard task. It's actually very hard to write a program to solve this problem using traditional computer science, because we need to know all the rules defining all the digits. So for example, the number 7 can be written like this, or like this, and we have an infinite number of possibilities. And it's impossible to know all these possibilities and all these rules. And even if we know all these rules, the program might be very long and very complicated. So machine learning makes it possible to avoid those long and complicated programs. But before explaining how, I would like to cite one definition of machine learning by Arthur Samuel in 1959. So Arthur Samuel was a pioneer in machine learning, and he defined ML as the field of study that gives computers the ability to learn without being explicitly programmed. So what does that mean concretely? So let's go back to our previous handwritten digit example. So in machine learning, instead of writing a program by hand defining all the rules, defining all the digits, we need to collect a lot of examples for which we already know the correct answer. So what does that mean concretely? We need to collect a lot of examples, a lot of 0, a lot of 1, etc., until 9, for which we already know the correct number. And once we have collected all these examples, we will give them to the machine learning model that will produce a program that does the job automatically. So this step where we tell the machine learning model the correct answer for several examples is called the training step. And during this step, the machine learning model will learn, using all these examples, how to predict the correct answer for any new handwritten digit given as input. So this explains the previous definition of Arthur Samuel about the ability of machine learning to learn without being explicitly programmed. As here, we do not need to program all the rules defining all the digits, but we just need data. We just need data, and the machine learning model will use this data to do the job. So after this training step, the machine learning model will be able to predict the correct answer for any new handwritten digit given as input, as we can see here. So another important aspect is that the more training data you have here, the more powerful machine learning model will have. So it's very important to have enough data here. So machine learning is applied in several application domains, such as vision, including image classification, for example, to recognize images presenting a cat and images presenting a dog. And it's also used to help in medical diagnosis, for example, to predict whether an histology image presents a cancer or no. And another example of vision task would be image captioning in order to annotate images and videos. So let's consider the previous problem of dogs and cat image classification with more details. So during the training step, just like the previous example of handwritten digits, we need to give the machine learning model during training several labeled cat and dog images. So we will give the machine learning model during training several images of cat and dog for which we already know the correct answer. And during training, the machine learning model will learn here thousands and sometimes millions of parameters. So if we come with a new example, a new image, the machine learning model will be able to predict whether this image corresponds to a cat or to a dog. So another field where machine learning is widely applied is natural language processing, including machine translation, which is our expertise here at Lingua Custodia, but also other NLP tasks such as question answering or automatic text summarization. So let's focus more on machine translation as it's our main focus here at Lingua Custodia. And let's consider the task of building an English to French machine translation model. So during training, just like the previous example, we need to give the machine learning model several examples for which we already know the correct answer. So here we will give the machine learning model several English texts and their corresponding French translation. So here, the machine learning model used for machine translation and also for other NLP tasks are a sequence-to-sequence model, are called sequence-to-sequence models, and they contain two main components, an encoder in order to encode the input sequence and the decoder in order to generate the translation. So the sequence-to-sequence model is a quite complicated neural network, as we can see here, where millions of parameters are learned during training in order to generate high-quality translations. So we have several sequence-to-sequence model architectures, but the most popular one is the transformer architecture depicted in this figure. So here we can see the encoder with more details and the decoder with more details. I'm not going to explain the architecture of the transformer with a lot of details, as it's not the main focus of this presentation, but it's good to know that the transformer architecture is the new state of the art in machine translation and also other NLP tasks. And it's also, we use transformer in all our machine translation engines at Lingua Custodia. So despite the effectiveness of machine translation model, they still exhibit some weaknesses, so there are several challenges in machine translation, which are the main topics of several research work in the NLP community, including the research lab of Lingua Custodia. So one of these challenges include gender bias, as we can see in this example, where the word nurse is systematically translated as infirmière. But we have other challenges, such as the problem of long-term dependencies. This problem occurs when we have more than one sentence. Sometimes the machine translation models struggle to identify some dependencies between terms. For example, here, a dependency between car and the word eat. So another important challenge in machine translation is terminology control. In fact, when we work in domain-specific scenarios, such as finance, we would like to translate some term in a specific way. And we would like to respect the financial terminology. So let's consider, for example, this sentence in French that we would like to translate in English. So this sentence was extracted, this sentence is obviously from the financial domain. And we can see that it contains a fund name, some financial terms and financial acronyms. And we tried several generic engines to translate this sentence. So with the first generic engine, we obtain the following translation, and we observe several things. So first of all, we observe that the fund name was translated, which is quite bad, as in when we translate financial text, we would like to keep the fund name unchanged. We also observed that the term objectif de gestion was translated management objective. It's not bad, but it could be better according to the financial terminology. And we also observed that the French acronym, the financial acronym FCP, was not translated. which show that this generic engine do not really know the financial acronym. With the second, we tried the second generic engine, and we observed exactly the same thing. We observed that this engine do not know the financial terminology either, as the fund name is translated, and we observed that this engine do not know the financial acronyms, and it's also translated the term objectif de gestion as management objective. So here at Lingua Custodia, it's very important for us to respect the financial terminology, as that's what makes us generate high quality translations. So with Lingua Custodia engine, we obtain the following translation. This translation, we can observe that this translation is much better than the previous one, and it is much more respectful to the toward the financial terminology. First, the fund name is not translated. The term objectif de gestion is translated investment objective, which is much better. And we also observe that this engine has a better understanding of financial acronyms, as FCP was translated as fund. So at the research lab of Lingua Custodia, we deal with several of these challenges, and we usually follow some steps. So for example, in order to, for terminology control, in order to have a powerful neural machine translation model with terminology control, we first perform a comparative study of all existing neural machine translation with term control published in the NLP literature. So then we assess the quality of all this this existing NMT model using the Bleu score. So for people who are not familiar with the Bleu score, it's a score that measures the correlation between the translated generated by the machine translation engines and the ground truth translated, which are usually human crafted. And after computing, in addition to computing the Bleu score, we also perform several human evaluation in order to assess the quality of all these NMT models. Then at the research lab, what we do is to develop new machine translation models which are better than existing approaches and push our best model into production. And finally, our objective is to publish our results in high-level NLP conferences such as ACL and EMNLP. So all these NLP challenges, including terminology control, are part of the SULT project, which is a joint project between Lingua Custodia, LIMSI, and DGA. So LIMSI is the computer science laboratory of Paris 11 University, and DGA is the Direction Générale de l'Armement. And the objective of the SULT project is to conduct research in several NLP challenges, including terminology control, but also other challenges such as the problem of terminology consistency and long-term dependencies at document level translation. And as part of this project, we will also investigate new evaluation methods. Thanks everyone for your attention, and you can follow our work at the Lingua Custodia Research Lab website here. Thanks everyone.
Thank you very much, Melissa. If you have any questions regarding machine learning, don't forget to use the Q&A feature down your screen. Melissa will be very happy to answer all your questions at the end of the webinar during the Q&A session. Now, I would like to welcome Massinissa, Head of Product Specialist. It will give you a quick demo of Verto, our platform, where actually all the translation happen.
Hello, I'm Massinissa. I'm Head of Product Specialist at Lingua Custodia. I'm very happy to walk you through our interface, Verto. Just let me share my screen. So here you go. Verto is a web-based application, so it's accessible anywhere, anytime, 24/7. As you can see, it's HTTPS secured, and you need a login and a password to get access. So once you log into Verto, you land in this page where you have access to 4 types of services. As you can see, we have machine translation, human translation and post-editing. We have some optional services such as the translation editor, and we have this kind of quick translate. So the main focus of today is machine translation. So I would go here. Okay, so now you have access to all our range of engines. As you can see, we have rather different type of engine dedicated to every type of financial document. And we have access to the following language pair source and target. Our platform supports 37 document formats, which includes PDFs and the main ones like Microsoft Word, TXT, etc. For my demo today, I would use a PowerPoint, which is right here. As you can see, it's a document about standardization of fund prospectuses, and it contains very specific terminology, as you see here. And
Messi, I think we can't see your screen, your PowerPoint.
okay, so let me share it again. Sorry. So here you go.
Perfect.
So sorry for that. So as I was mentioning, my document is a PowerPoint because it's very popular among asset managers, and it's about standardization of fund prospectuses. It's in French, and it contains specific terminology. So what I will do, I will upload it to Verto, and by doing this, here you go, standardization prospectus. And given its nature, I would choose the LC Prospectus Kit engine, since choosing the right engine for my document, it's a very key step, because as I mentioned before, all our engines have been trained on very specific data set, and choosing the right engine will help me get the best accuracy. So once I have chosen the engine, source, and target languages, the button here will be activated, so I would click on translate. The translation process should take a few moments, depending, of course, on the size of your document and your entering speed. Okay, so now it's being translated. Okay, so once the translation is ready, I could download my document by clicking here and save it on my desktop, for example. English. Okay, so now I will open the target document that I just got from Verto, and I will put it side by side with the original one in French. So here my French document. And the target document right here. As you can see, the layout has been kept through the translation process, and all the boxes and the text is here. The document is in English, and you may remember on Melissa's demo that she mentioned that FCP has been translated into fund, and you see that here the specific wording CCAB, FCP, and FCPE has been kept in the original language. It's because our engine is able to make the difference in which context these keywords have to be translated, and where they have to be still in French, since here we have to keep the I would say the granularity of each legal structure. So basically, it's as easy as that. As you saw, I got a translation proposal in a few moments, and I could do that in 9 languages in very different using different engines. So my job at Lingua Custodia is to help the users to get the best experience possible from our engine, and to guide them through and support them along all the process. So thank you for having me today, and bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Massinissa. I would like to show you our website. Some of our services, translation services, are available for free on our website. Simply go to linguacustodia.finance/en. If you're an English speaker, we also have a French version of this website. And go to free services, select Quick Translate. If it's the first time you are using our free services, we will ask you to fill out a very short form. And once you did that, you will simply have to give your email address. Here we are on the quick translate. As you can see, you can choose your languages, target and source, as well as your engine type. And simply copy paste the text you want. Here, I will just paste it. It's French. I select French to English. And this engine is good. So let's hit translate. Wait a couple of seconds. And then we will have the translation here. We also reminded you all the details of our engines below. We have another service that is free and really interesting. It's called a price simulation. It helps you estimate the price to translate a document. Again, same idea. You select the document source language, the target language, upload your file, and hit generate simulation. It's very convenient. I will stop sharing my screen. It is now time for Frédéric, our head of sales and the managing director of Lingua Custodia Luxembourg, to give you some information about our solutions and offers.
Thank you very much, Ines. Hi, everyone. My name is Frédéric. I am head of sales at Lingua Custodia and also managing director of our first international branch, that we opened in Luxembourg 1 year ago. I really hope you enjoyed what you have seen today and learned a lot about machine learning and machine translation. As you might have understood, our aim at Lingua Custodia is to help you make your financial translation faster, cheaper, and with a better quality, thanks to artificial intelligence and machine learning. So where we are now, I really don't want to go back to this year that has been very tough for all right now, and special and challenging one. We are fortunate at Lingua Custodia to have great financial institution customers, and also to provide full digital services that allow them and that has been supporting them, the customer, through the crisis. As a fintech, we really want to keep supporting the financial ecosystem, and to do that, we have created some special year-end offer to help you deal and manage with the uncertainties of 2021. So, what do? We have created some translation packages that allow you to benefit from a decreasing price per word. Basically, it means that the more volume you have, the cheaper it is. It also allows you to compose your translation package with machine translation only, or combined with post-editing solutions, as you heard before, of course, according to your needs. In the meantime, it also allows you to lock in your translation price for the whole year 2021, which is definitely convenient. So for you, there is no surprises, and it gives you a total control of your budget and your expenses. In the meantime, we can also let you test Verto, the platform that you've seen with Massinissa, for free for 15 days. All engine available. As you understand, we have specialized engine by document type, so all engine available, and all pair of languages available as well. And then with no limit on the number of users. This is what we agreed for this end of series. And last but not least, something very interesting, if you subscribe to one of our package before the end of the year, we will grant you to an additional 10,000 words, which was around 20 to 25 word pages. So let's wrap it up in one slide. There we are. So what can we offer right now? Yeah, this is a 15-day machine translation free trial with no limit of users. Okay, 1 year translation packages. Interesting. This is billable in 2020 and usable for the whole and entire year 2021. And of course, if you do subscribe before end of this year, we can give you 10,000 words for free. So if some of you guys is willing to get in touch, feel free to drop me an email. Oh, sorry, or just scan this QR code. This is my LinkedIn profile. We have a team of people here in Luxembourg that will definitely get back to you with some explanations. That's all for me. So if you have any questions, so feel free to get back to me. I'm now opening the Q&A session. Feel free to ask any question that you may have. I don't know, Ines, if there's something in. Let me just thank you once again for joining this webinar. That's really amazing to see how much people has joined. We are very happy about that. Stay safe, take care of your family, and Ines, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Fred. Indeed, we're gonna move on to the question and answer session. Thank you all for asking so many questions. I can see we have a lot. So the first question, someone would be interested to know if and how our translation services could be used for training material such as e-learning.
Okay, I'm going to take this one.
Okay.
I'm going to take this one,
Sorry.
Ines. So the question of the usage of machine translation engines depends very much on, it's going to work very well if it's translating the type of documents for which the engine has been trained itself. So if the e-learning, if the content of the e-learning relates to finance, it should do a pretty good work. We will have to assess what type exactly of engine would be the most adapted. Typically, you see we have an asset management marketing engine, which is fairly round on the wording, that maybe could make the trick. Or it depends if it's an e-learning module which is very focused on the legal aspects of things, then maybe prospectus engine would do a better job. Then again, if you're talking about metrics for equity valuation, then maybe our equity research engine will be the best one. So that would be, it would require a little bit of discussions because e-learning is very broad. So if it's finance, definitely yes. If it's talking about a different topic, probably not. We would not cover e-learning on how to learn to drive a car. But for finance, we probably would do a good job.
Thank you very much, Olivier. We have another question. Do you already have, or are you planning to develop a tool for ESG?
I take this one as well. So thank you for the question. So ESG, indeed, all what relates to socially responsible investment, a lot of funds, there's going to be a big regulation move in 2021 regarding what relates to all the aspects of environmental governance and the social aspects of investments. This is a specific type of terminology and wording, and we definitely have on our plan to start to develop this as a new type of documents in 2021, particularly given the new type of ESG reports that will need to be produced progressively from 2021, 2022, going on for funds in particular. So that's definitely on our roadmap.
Thank you, Olivier. The next question is about security. Someone is wondering if we have certification for information security or risk management. How do we deal with security?
Yes, I will take this one. So usually we work with a lot of financial institutions with very high standards in terms of IT security. So just get in touch with us and we'll be happy to send you all the relevant documentation and data on that. And we'll be also very happy to talk to your IT team if required.
Thank you, Messi. We have another question regarding the API service. Do you have an API service or do we have to connect only through Verto?
Yeah, we'll take this one as well. So yes, we do have an API and some of our clients are already using it. So you could rather use our Verto as SaaS interface. And also there is another way if you have like internal tools or a specific process to use our API. So once again, just get in touch with us and we'll be very happy to give you more information on this.
Thank you, Messi. Someone is asking about what is our pricing model? Can clients just buy one standalone translation, or do they need a subscription?
Yeah, I think this one belongs to me. Thanks for the question. Yeah, basically, we do have two types of services, as you understand, but mainly our customer can go through our platform and be in charge per word. This is what we call on-the-fly consumption. It means that you don't need any kind of subscription. You just go to the platform and just translate, and you will be invoiced after each translation. And this one is about 5 cents a word if your source language is an European language.
Great. Thank you, Fred. The next question is, training an engine using machine learning takes time depending on the amount of words fitting the engine. Thus, how do you ensure the speed of your translation considering the machine learning training time? This is about time.
Okay, I'll take this one. So there are indeed two different things to take into account. To train an engine indeed takes a lot of time. Once the engine is trained, then you put this engine into production in your production environment, and the speed of translation, therefore, is almost immediate. It's irrelevant, depends on the strength of your production server that you will have running this. Then the question is, how often do we retrain engines? And this is a big kind of topic and debate also in the scientific on the scientific aspect of things. Is we need enough data for the retraining of an engine to be statistically valid. So, but there's no correlation, if you want, between the speed of translation and the training itself. That's two separate processes. That's how we handle it.
Thank you, Olivier. Next, same question as for the ESG regarding GIPS, which is Global Investment Performance Standard. Do you already have it, or is it on the roadmap?
I can take that one. So for the GIPS standards, we have a specific engines for font fact sheets, which aims also to integrate the specific terminology that we find in the GIPS reports. So that's already on our platform and free for you to test if you want to.
Thank you very much. One more. If a bank wanted to have its audit report translated, how many audit reports do you think would it require to train the engine?
I think I will take this one. So yes, thanks for the question. I think we have at Lingua Custodia like minimum threshold to train one engine specifically from one engine type. It's measured on number of words. So usually we say it's 1 million words to be statistically relevant, but the more data we get, the better quality it is, as mentioned by Melissa during her presentation.
Thank you, Messi. We have a question from someone from Nicaragua. Welcome. Saying, what happens when the original file to be translated has mistakes, such as punctuation or grammar?
I'll answer this one. This is a very, very good question. So a few years ago, the machine translation tools were using what we call statistical machine translation. So it was basically based on words. So it was translating its words, taking into account the words before and after, and doing statistical calculation on this. So at the time, of course, if there was a mistake in a word in a source language, there was a mistake in the target language as well. Today, with a neural machine translation, so using the deep learning, in fact, the tools are translating at the level of the full sentence, not word by word. So which means that if there is a part of a sentence missing or some words that are written incorrectly, the engine will be able to understand there's something wrong and therefore will correct it. It's you see some, so this is the beauty of the thing. If we have sentences, an example in our demo tool where we show sentences that are cut sometimes with formats. One big issue in translation is the formatting, because you can have a very good engine, but if the format is really bad, it can create problem. But in that case, we had a situation where in French we were talking about corporate bonds that are riskier than government bonds. And the sentence was cut at before corporate in English. So it was just in proper translation, or if you were using it word by word, in English it could have given like something like private is riskier than government bonds. And the engine itself realized that this does not make any sense because we're talking about government bonds at the end of a sentence. We must be talking about corporate bonds at the beginning of the sentence, and this recreated the sentence. So this is the beauty of things. This has also inconvenience sometimes when we don't retrain the engine quickly enough to follow what's happening in the world. Like typically in France, the previous year there was a movement of people wearing yellow jackets, and one sentence that could appear before we had the time to retrain our engine was in French. It was saying the yellow jackets declared this and that, and for the tool, a jacket can't speak or can't declare anything. So there was a problem, and it thought it was an incorrect input in the sentence because a jacket can't talk. So that's, you see, in each technology there is always the pro and the cons on that aspect. But yes, it can correct and take into account the correction of things that are incorrectly input in the source language.
Thank you very much, Olivier. Someone is asking, how do we manage quality vs human translation?
Okay, I'll take this one as well. The topic of quality in translation is very, very difficult. It's because it's very subjective, and I may find personally that your translation is very good, and someone else may find it very poor. So this means that again, the point here is not to compare machine translation, the quality of machine translation with human translation. Have to keep in mind that machine translation is an immediate first proposal of translation that if you want to publish it, needs to be checked. The more normative and technical it is, the better job the machine is going to do. If it's poetry, the machine will struggle a lot. And that's where there's still a good hope for the human being with all those AI topics, is that when you have a text which refers to a lot of local elements that happens in the news, refers to a specific person, and you change the name of a person to make an adjective, that's very hard for a machine to understand the reference, and even for a human translator, it's quite hard to convert this in a foreign language. But that's where the human translators are needed. So the first point is you can't compare what is not comparable. Machine translation is there to really increase the capacity of financial institutions to translate documents without this to cost too much, and with increasing the speed of the process. When we roll out a new engine, we assess the quality of those engines in two ways. First, there is the first kind of mechanical way or scientific way that Melissa mentioned earlier on, which is the blue score, which is a mathematical comparison with a reference translation. But then after that, we are doing blind tests with human reviewers of text that have been translated with different machine translation engines, particularly comparing generic with our specialized engine or the previous version of our specialized engines. And this is how we decide to roll out a new engine. The topic of quality is a difficult one. One positive aspect we can say of the machine, which is what I mentioned initially, is that the kind of consistency. The machine will always translate things in the same way. The same sentence comes again. So that's one elements. But one advantage that the machine has over a human person, which remembering how you did it the last time is not always evident, the machine will do that. But there are pros and cons on this, but topic of quality is hard. Thank you for that question.
Well, thank you for your answer, Olivier. Time is almost up. I think we will answer one last question. Someone's asking if Verto goes as far as translating chart indicators. Yeah.
Okay, I may take that one as well. So here I understand the question relates to some graph that may be included in documents. So this comes back to the topic of formatting. When particularly on our platform, we send a document for translation, it first needs to be analyzed. It's at this stage still segmented or cut into sentences. The sentences are sent for translation. It comes back and the tool puts the full document back into shape. Chart indicators, if it's a full picture, it may very well stay as it is. It will not go through if it's included already in another type of document. It would require to be properly scanned through and translated to be sent into the machine in a very in a specific type of format. I don't know if it's like people who create documents in InDesign format. It's better to send it in the machine in an InDesign format rather than in PDF after converting it in PDF after it's been done in InDesign first. So here answer on chart indicator is it depends really on how those chart indicators are present in the document, if they're on their own or if it's something else, and how they were done. If they are really a picture or if they are an extraction or something that was done within Microsoft Office.
Thank you, Olivier. We have one last question. How long does it take to set up your solution?
I would take this one. So it takes only a few moments to give you access to the to Verto platform. So basically, we just need a few information from you, basically email address, name, and last name, and that's it. You will get your access in a few moments.
Perfect. Thank you, Messi. I think the webinar is almost over. I would like to wrap it up by thanking you for your time. Thank you for coming here today and listening to us. We hope we answered all your questions. If you still have questions, you can, of course, contact us through LinkedIn or by emails. You can also contact us through our website. Also, if you'd like to watch the presentation again, we will post a replay on our LinkedIn page very soon today, so you can access the replay. Don't forget, in the same time, to follow us on LinkedIn. I would also like to remind you that our offices will remain open during the holidays. So if you have any translation requests, please do not hesitate. We will answer all your needs. Finally, again, thank you very much and take care. The team is very happy to be here with you today. Thank you.
Thank you to all. Thank you. And looking forward to talking with you again.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.